Hey, my beautiful people, how are you? We're doing another brown chair chat. I think this is number three. Three is my magic number, by the way, 333. The funny thing is, I've always had a thing with that. I never knew it until getting to this point in my life. The number, why it was so representative of who I was. So, remember, this is a chat on spirituality. If you're watching on Instagram, this will cut off in 15 minutes. So to watch the whole thing, go to my YouTube. Just go YouTube and then type in Adam Keith, and I should pop right up. So you get to see the whole thing if you're interested, of course. Again, This is talking about spirituality. This is what the universe has shown me. I've been talking to the universe quite a bit, basically getting downloads and whatnot for all of this. And just to sort of share with you what the universe wants me to tell you. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I'm not here to change your mind or anything. So please, if there's any comments on that, save your breath. That's not my job here, okay? I'm just giving you the information and you do with it as you wish, okay? So I have a little list here of things I want to talk about, but I do definitely want to talk about protection. And when I mean protection, spiritual protection. There's several ways, of course, you can go about it. And if you haven't quite increased your vibration yet, your spiritual protection yet, of course, you always have your guardian angel always looking after you, of course, but they can only, they can do so much. You also have to be a participant in that. So yes, there are ways you can do this. Some people wear crystals, and if you go online, there's crystals for protection, to keep evil entities or spirits away. Things that sort of if you go on there, and you'll find out a little bit more what those crystals will do. I'm not a big someone who knows crystals inside and out. So, but I always recommend Googling it, what crystals will work for what you want them to do. And they are very helpful because each one has its own energetic signature. And I do have several. I don't, you don't need crystals. It's great to have them. They can be helpful, but you don't need them. People think that if you don't have this particular crystal or wear this, that, it's kind of done for. Same thing with the sage or burning Palo Santo. I was just on Palo Alto, never mind. So those things can also clear the air energetically, which of course, if you're not sure, getting yourself some white sage and, burning it in your home, just like waving it around, and to clear the space, and with the intent of clearing the energy out. And then also, remembering to seal the energy. So it's like you're clearing the energy out of your house. I'm whisking away all negative energy in this house, and then putting back the good energy. Like saying, only good energy is allowed in here, love, light, and joy, whatever you want to say. It's about the intent. It's not about the words. It's about the intent. And you can do this yourself. If you imagine yourself in like an energetic sphere, one that is shielding you, protecting you from spiritual bombardment. It's a good way to do it. I also had a friend of mine who was traveling, coming up here to Los Angeles, and he always has a hard time for customs because he's from South America, and just customs always pulls him over. And he says, I'm a little worried about that. Not that he's doing anything illegal, but nobody wants to be harassed, you know what I mean? So I said to him, I just imagine yourself invisible. Imagine that you're just cloaked. And it worked for him. It's just that it's the intention of things. So if you want to sort of slip by unnoticed, maybe you're in a group of people that you're not particularly sure about, or you're not feeling comfortable, cloak yourself in that energy, almost like an invisibility thing. But it has to be the intent has to be there. Kind of cuts you off from their energy and makes you a little bit like invisible. And I know that's kind of strange because you're not disappearing. It's not like Harry Potter where you put the cloak on, you disappear. But it's an energetic thing. So those people don't come towards you or don't really bother you. It's also giving yourself that energetic sphere as well. Imagine yourself in white light being protected, or your guardian angels or whichever angel protecting you, or however you want that to work out for you. It is about the intent. It's so much about the intent. Okay? So, and you can do the same thing, helping to protect your loved ones as well. Shield them with energy, with love, light, and joy. Okay? Very important. You can do things of that nature to help people in that sense. For protection, I had somebody write me, oh, can you do a love spell for me? And I'm like, no. And I'll tell you why. There's no doubt this person was looking for a specific person, for this person to fall in love with them. You cannot cast spells, and spells are intention, okay? You don't need to go in a witch's book and, these spell, this is the spell for this. No, it's about intent. You can make up your own spell. It doesn't really matter. You can learn, basically, kind of things you would have to say, but it's the intent of what you want. Problem with spells. You can cast spells of protection. You can cast spells of love, but in a general way. In other words, telling the universe, bring me the person that is right for me, that who will love me and I will love them. You do not try to pinpoint a person. That's not going to work well. It's going to backfire because you're usurping somebody else's free will. So very bad idea. It's the same thing with trying to get revenge on somebody, or cause someone ill will, or throw jealousy things or at them. And again, sometimes you don't realize you're doing it, but if you think, I'm so jealous of this person, I really hate this person so much, you are literally casting a spell because you're putting that energy out there. If you remain in that energy and keep putting it out there, you are causing a spell. The problem is, it's going to bounce back to you. And it's going to be really bad because once that energy goes out, it hits it just hits them, comes right back at you, boomerangs. Because the universe doesn't like that. You're messing with what the universe needs to do. You can't do that. So you can protect yourself, you can protect other people, you can protect the environment, you can work with Mother Earth. There's plenty of ways to do that for the general collective and the general good. But you cannot, try and pinpoint somebody to love you or that I hate you. You can put up a shield between the two of you so that you can, that they don't mess with your energy. You can block it, but you can't really do much more than that because it's really bad to be playing with spells, especially since if you're not really connected with Source. And again, we talked about this having to go through basically a trial by fire to get there. It is something that should not be taken lightly. And also don't keep, stay in these energies, these jealous, angry energies of people. Feel the emotions, let them go. Okay? Really important to do that. So yeah, I had some person, it's like, oh, I'm just trying to learn the best spells. Again, no. Be very careful with that. And you don't need, to find in a book the best spells. It's not about that. Again, it's all intent. That's what it is. All right, because words are magic. They do have some they have abilities to do things. Don't get me wrong, words are not violence because we have a problem with this, but violence is violence. If you've ever been hit in the face, you'll know the difference between a word and an actual fist. Words can hurt, can make you sad, can make you upset, but they're just words. It's like, it helps build up your character as well. So do remember that. But words can be magical. They have a lot of power in them, just like when you are hurt by somebody else saying that, oh, you're a loser, or whatever it may be. But that is, you overcome that. You know what I mean? It's like, you also sometimes have to turn the other cheek and say, you know what, whatever. Because what you're doing is building your own strength within yourself. And this may cause ego reactions. You start doubting yourself. You start listening to the ego. Oh, maybe I am a loser. Maybe I am this or that. No, you got to strengthen your inner core, your inner spirituality. It's really important that you do that. And hiding in a safe space or hiding in the closet is not going to advance you. It's not going to make you stronger. It just makes you weaker. So we have to face these things head on. We have to face life head on. That's how we become stronger. That's how we learn our lessons. You see what I'm saying? There was also the thing too, my guys wanted to bring up original sin, which is more of a Roman Catholic thing. Tends to be more Christian. Excuse me a second. more of a Roman Catholic thing. Um, there is no original sin, okay? I know a lot of Christians are not going to be happy when I say that, but there isn't. That was done by the churches and whatnot to have control over people. That's basically what religion has been about for a lot of it. There's nuggets of truth in everything. And that's why a lot of people are turning away from religion as well, because they realize a lot of the BS that they've been been spilling forth. And one original sin is one of them. There is no original sin. You are not born with original sin. You aren't. You may have karma from a previous lifetime, but that has to be worked out in your lifetime. That is not original sin. No one's gonna, your priest or whatever is not gonna take that away. You got to go through the lessons, whatever lessons you're supposed to learn. So there is no original sin. No one's born with original sin. And I know people are going to hate that when I say it, but again, I'm just here to share the information. Take it or not. Don't really care. Also, someone asked about, tarot cards, deviation tools to connect with spirit and whatnot. To find out certain things, for spirit to talk to you, tarot cards are a good way. However, and there's also runes. There's, people use tea leaves and coffee grinds and all kinds of things. So whatever kind of works for you in that way. You may have traditions that go back from your grandparents, that they've taught you a certain way to do this. And that's good. But again, remember the intent. Remember also when you're doing these things, tarot and whatnot, is to clear the energy out. That you only want this good positive energy around you. Call in your guides to protect you. Very important. It's like you're surrounding yourself with good energy, not negative energy, because you can't see what's around you. Okay, so very important that you do that. It's very much about intent again. I am going to tell you very much to stay away from a Ouija board. Do not go near a Ouija board. And it's not by coincidence that Ouija boards were thought of as games. That was done by those people who are, and I hate to say that, going toward the darker side, knew that is not something you play with. Ouija boards are definitely not the higher spirits. That is the negative entities, the lower vibrational entities that will possess those boards and start speaking to you. You do not want to play with them. If you have one in your house, throw it out now. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Very important you do so. But when you're doing tarot and that, make sure you protect yourself. Again, if you read coffee grinds or, some people use bones and things to throw, make sure that you are protecting yourself. Even if you try to protect yourself with a Ouija board, no, just don't do it, please. It's one thing that the universe, my guys are like, do not play with that. It's not a game, all right? So no Ouija boards, all right? I think they wanted me to talk about addictions, rising to the challenge of your mission, and nihilism. And the nihilism comes into, from a lot of people turning away from their religions, especially here in the West, Christianity, Catholicism, etc., and turning away from the religions. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I have this thing. It's like I have a love-hate with religion because, in one sense, it does give you a sort of a discipline to work from, a framework. Other thing is wrong with it. It's very controlled. It was, people trying to control you and how you perceive things and everything else. So it's like the double-edged sword, which I'm not really particularly crazy about. And, it takes thought and intelligence and learning about the world around you. We go very, scientific in a lot of things, which is great, but scientific adventures and spiritualism are not separate. They are actually together. These things flow. And the great scholars knew that too. Newton, the whole thing. These were very religious people. These people that knew God was there, the universe was there. There was no getting around that. It's just that they were able to work within those parameters. It's like the universe wants you to discover these things and to work towards a better future. So they are not separate. And that's the problem is, like, we have so many people turning away, but then they just believe in science, or they don't believe that there's anything other than, you live, you die, and that's it. Or, the idea of, well, I'm not going to get any karma because again, life is short. Like, you die, you live, you die, and that's it. It's great. And so people treat each other very poorly. And then we have this thing of like, people just don't care. Like, people need to start believing in something bigger than themselves. It's really important to have an idea that you are here for a reason. You're here to enjoy yourself, yes, but you're here to learn lessons. You're all on a mission. You're all supposed to be doing something, whether it be taking care of a child, whether it be helping other people along the way, in whatever manner that might be. And it might just be being polite to somebody on the street or giving them a helping hand, to help with each other in day-to-day basis. These are all really important. Everyone here has something to do, and it's believing in your mission while you're here. And it's rising to the challenge of that mission, because it's so easy not to do anything or not believe or just watch TV all day and then go to work and then come back up. And it's like, and get caught up in consumerism and everything else. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to have nice things and pretty things, but that shouldn't be your main goal. It should not be your main goal, because you can't take any of that with you. But let me tell you what, you take all the experiences with you when you go. You'll remember all that, and you're going to take the karma and dharma with you too. So, once you go back into the cycle again, coming back down on this planet or whichever planet you're originally from, you'll have to sort of either work out that karma, or the universe is going to upgrade you in some way, make your life a bit easier. But again, then you're going to, experience new lessons, new things. So, very important to remember this. It's rising up to the challenge, rising up to your mission. And you're like, well, I don't know what my mission is. How do I know what my mission is? Well, first of all, just believe in yourself. Believe in other people. Be nice to people. Treat people like you'd want to be treated, first of all. Ask your spirit guides. Tell them, please give me indication of what I need to do, what I need to be doing, where am I supposed to be going. They will help you. They'll do it through synchronicities with other people. You may have aha moments. They may download and do something. An idea comes to you. You might suddenly read something on the internet and it's like, oh my God, that's it. These things are important, but you need to ask. Like, if you really want to find more clarity on that, you need to ask your guides, and they will help you in that. Addictions, you can be addicted to many things. I mean, sugar, alcohol, sex, drugs, you name it. It really can be addicted to anything. Cigarettes. And addictions, certain people do have addictive personalities. There's something that is there. But it's also, thank you guys, but it's also coming from previous lifetimes. It's also maybe part of your karma to sort of deal with this. It's why people, maybe have inherited diseases from family and whatnot. There's a reason for it, because you had to learn this particular lesson with this. And it's not to be mean. The universe is not trying to be mean or anything, but it's trying to get you through. You gotta remember, the bigger picture is you're here for this one lifetime. This lifetime goes pretty quickly, and then you go to the next. You pass the veil, and then the universe, and you decide, when your spirit guides decide what you will be doing next. And it doesn't happen necessarily right after you die. You come right back. It doesn't happen that way either. It doesn't happen on a linear time frame. So the addictions, though, some people can it's very hard to get separated from them. And the addictions are sprouting not from particularly always the substance, but it's more about the core of who you are, what has been going on in your world, how you view yourself. All of these things are the kind of the contributor to these addictions. Yeah, you may have a gene that might persuade you in that direction, but this is also the challenge too. And I'm gonna give you a real easy one: sugar. Sugar, the funny thing is, it can be very hard to get out of sugar, eating a lot of sugar, because once you're there, it's very difficult, and it starts changing your taste buds and everything else. It also gives you a chemical high, not a chemical high, but, well, I guess it is. Everything turns into chemicals in your body. But it gives you that high that you're kind of striving for, especially if you're feeling depressed or whatnot. People will eat to make themselves feel better, and it's like cutting down. And sugar is a big component of that. I would say just try cutting down the sugar little by little. When I did it when I was a kid, I just pretended that sugar was poison. Just thought of it as poison, and I literally started cutting it out of my diet. Sugar, teaspoon sugar, that kind of thing. My coffee and other things on my cereals, getting less sugared cereals, eating just less, pastries, things like that, and starting eating more fresh fruit, which is still sweet, it's still sugar, but it does digest in your system differently. And if anybody tells me all sugars are the same, no, they're not. Please don't. They're not. You remember you have science trying to sell you a load of bullshit all the time because they're all in the back pockets of all of these companies. So natural sugar, though, when you're eating a fruit, you have to digest it, the fiber and everything else that you're getting from it. And you're not just getting sugar, you're getting vitamins and minerals and whatever this fruit is carrying with it. So important to remember that, rather than just drinking a Coca-Cola, which absolutely does nothing. And I'm not saying you shouldn't drink Coca-Cola at all. Coca-Cola now and then, fine. But if you're drinking it like it's water, that's not going to be good. That's just liquid sugar. You should not be drinking liquid sugar. So these are things I'm just saying, like cut it down, try not to go there. Again, the same thing with like alcohol. If you can, try not to have, that third glass of wine at dinner, maybe. If you you have an addictive personality. And the same goes with the drugs. The drugs are much more difficult because sometimes, say like meth and E and all that, and even G, they're messing up your chemistry, and especially meth is very highly addictive and changes your brain chemistry. And I know there's especially for people, they get depressed, they want to try something, they want to get a new high, they don't like their life. But see, this is the problem. This is why people get addicted to stuff, because they're always trying to escape their life. They find it miserable. They don't like it. This is the issue. I'm not good enough. I feel better on drugs. I feel sexier, whatever it may be. But these are the issues which you're talking about is more in here than anywhere else. So we have to sort of start addressing that, start meditating, start getting connected to spirit, start talking to your spirit guides, start a conversation with the universe. Seriously, you can talk to it's there, it's responsive, it's alive, it's here. I mean, you are a part of the universe. Everything is the universe. The chair I'm sitting on is the universe. The air I'm breathing is the universe. It's all the universe. There's no escaping it. So knowing that, it's like having to get more connected with spirit, with a greater cause. If you feel like you have time on your hands and like you don't feel like you're going anywhere, go out and go use your time for the greater good. Donate your time, volunteer for something, for a soup kitchen, for an STD clinic, for a suicide hotline, anything, like reach, books to children or the elderly. These things could all be very helpful to give you a bigger picture. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You could donate or volunteer a few hours of your time here and there. And then, be greatly needed and loved because, there used to be the thing, the big brothers, where, someone used to, with another child who didn't have a father, whatnot, and help, take him out to baseball games and things like that. And these are important things. It's things greater than yourself. So these are things that, be working on rather than just, especially a lot of my, my gay boys, going out to parties all the time. And don't get me wrong, it's wonderful to go out to a party. It's a lot of fun. But if that's your whole goal is to go out to party and do drugs, sweetheart, that's gonna just to be a big fail. Eventually it will be, and I know plenty of people that have done that lifestyle and wind up in AA, but then finally change their lives. But you're on your own path, so there's no judgment here. I'm just telling you what I know, what I've been trying, what I need to say to you, and that's it. Take it or leave it. I'm not trying to convince you on anything, but I'm trying to give you some different direction and maybe what would work for you. Spend more time with friends. Not in, when people go out to, especially my gay boys, when they go out to parties, no one's really talking. It's a different kind of atmosphere. So do game nights at a friend's house. go out to the movies, go out to dinner, do something more like that where you're actually interacting with your friends rather than, just always dancing. And some people do that. It's just like from party to party to party to party. And, it kind of burns out quickly. And you got to be really careful with all the drugs, alcohol, everything. It's, sex can be addictive. And I know for a fact that was very much my addiction for a while. It was very hard to get out of that considering all the work I've done. And it was very difficult because I'm a very sexual person to begin with. And drugs and alcohol, not my problem. But sex, when I decided to go forward and do what I was doing in the adult world, that was a very difficult situation. Very difficult. Because I knew I always had held it in check. But then when I decided to go and do it full time, I was a little worried about that, and rightly so. And I did very well. I did what I had to do, but getting out of it when it was time to change was very difficult. It was a bit of an addiction unto itself, and so I had to sort of learn to get with that. But the way I got out of it was getting more connected with spirit, working on myself, letting a lot of things go, releasing things, releasing certain desires, and this is a process. It's a process. So I'm running out of battery, and I think this is probably going to be where we're going to end anyway. But just wanting to connect more with the people around you, learning to sort of work with yourself. And I would say, go to a therapist. Help that'll help through as well. Meditation, letting go things, letting go. Getting more connected with spirit, and you're going to see a change in your life. You will. There is something bigger than you, greater than you. Be part of the ascension and the collective for the good, not just for yourself. You know what I mean? Not just selfish. You don't want to be selfish. So, I think, guys, that's what I have for you. For right now, we'll do another one soon. I hope this has been helpful for you, and we'll talk to you guys later. All right, ciao.